We're always reading people, whether we realize it or not. A look, a gesture, a change in tone. Your brain takes in hundreds of social cues every second. And while instinct plays a role, psychology gives us a powerful edge in decoding human behavior more consciously and more accurately. So if you've ever wanted to understand someone faster, build better connections, or spot red flags early on, this video is for you. Let's explore 18 ways to read people more accurately, all grounded in real psychological research. 1. Eye contact, the social barometer. Eye contact is one of the first and strongest signals we interpret, and it's more nuanced than we think. Prolonged eye contact can indicate interest or dominance, while avoidance may signal discomfort, anxiety, or even deception. But context matters. For instance, someone with social anxiety or neurodivergence may avoid eye contact without any negative intention. A 2015 study in the journal Cognition found that mutual gaze increases emotional arousal and attentiveness, meaning eye contact literally activates our social brain. Watch for blinking rate, increased during lying. Pupil dilation can signal interest, and whether the gaze matches the tone of conversation. 2. Microexpressions, truth in a flash. According to Dr. Paul Ekman, microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that reveal true emotions. Even when someone tries to hide them, they occur in less than half a second and reflect universal emotions like fear, anger, joy, or contempt. Research shows trained observers can detect lies or hidden feelings more accurately by spotting microexpressions. If you notice a fleeting flash of sadness before a smile, or a momentary smirk when someone denies wrongdoing, you're seeing beneath the surface. Watch carefully during emotionally charged topics, especially when someone is trying to maintain composure. 3. Eyebrows. Subtle signs of social emotion. Eyebrows are emotional amplifiers. They rise with surprise or skepticism and furrow with concentration, worry, or anger. But when someone raises their eyebrows during a casual conversation, it often indicates unease or social anxiety. This is linked to the limbic brain's nonverbal fear response. In one study published in Emotion, 2006, eyebrow movement was strongly associated with perceived emotional intelligence, the ability to read and respond to others' emotions. 4. Smiling with the eyes. The Duchenne difference. You've likely heard that real smiles reach the eyes. This is true, and it's called the Duchenne smile. A genuine smile activates the orbicularis oculi muscle, creating subtle crow's feet around the eyes. Fake smiles only lift the corners of the mouth. Researchers have found that Duchenne smiles are associated with positive long-term relationships and emotional authenticity. To check this, ask yourself, are their eyes crinkling? Or is the smile more performative than warm? 5. What they say about others tells you everything. In psychology, there's a phenomenon known as spontaneous trait inference. When people describe others, they often reveal traits they recognize, or deny, in themselves. A study in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that people who consistently see others as warm and kind tend to possess these traits themselves. Conversely, if someone quickly describes others as toxic or manipulative, it may reflect unresolved personal projections or darker traits. Listen carefully and ask yourself, how do they talk about others when there's nothing to gain? 6. Tone of voice and paralanguage. What's hidden in the sound? Paralanguage refers to vocal elements outside the actual words: pitch, tone, rhythm, and inflection. For example, someone may say, "I'm fine," but if it's delivered flatly or too quickly, the tone suggests otherwise. A study in the Journal of Language and Social Psychology showed that vocal tone alone can influence our perception of credibility and empathy, often more than the words themselves. If someone's tone contradicts their words, trust the tone. 7. Body orientation. Where they face is what they feel. A person's feet and torso often reveal more than their smile. Someone may be nodding politely, but if their feet are pointed toward the exit, their body wants to leave. In fact, FBI behavioral analysts often look at foot direction in interrogation rooms. Facing someone directly signals openness, respect, and presence. Turning away can suggest discomfort, disinterest, or social anxiety. 8. Excessive nodding, approval, seeking in disguise. While occasional nodding signals agreement, excessive nodding often indicates a desire to please or underlying insecurity. It's common in high-stakes social settings where someone fears judgment, like job interviews or first dates. Therapists are trained to spot this as a subtle cue of low self-worth or perfectionism. It's the body saying, "I'm with you, just don't reject me." 9. Jaw tension and chin touching, signs of inner conflict tension. In the jaw or grinding teeth are classic signs of stress. Rubbing or holding the chin often signals deep thinking or internal debate. This kind of body language usually happens when someone is mentally juggling multiple options, or when a topic triggers unresolved feelings. If someone says they're fine but clenches their jaw, listen to the body, not the words. 10th posture. The physical language of self-worth influences how others perceive us and how we perceive ourselves. Amy Cuddy's famous and controversial power pose study sparked interest in posture's psychological effects. More recent research shows upright posture correlates with improved mood, confidence, and resilience. Someone slouched may feel defeated or distracted, but again, context matters. Always read posture alongside other cues. 11. Hand rubbing, anticipation or anxiety. Rubbing hands together is often a sign of anticipation. We do it when we're hopeful, excited, or nervous. It's a self-soothing gesture that activates the tactile system and reduces cortisol. Salespeople are trained to look for this in clients about to make a purchase decision. But repeated rubbing can also signal worry, especially if paired with other anxious behaviors like fidgeting or pacing. 12 handshakes, a hidden personality. Test. Handshakes may feel old school, but they're packed with cues. A study from the University of Alabama found that firmer handshakes were associated with extroversion and emotional expressiveness, while weaker grips correlated with anxiety and introversion. Too firm may indicate control issues. Too limp could signal passivity or social discomfort. Also note duration. A handshake that lingers too long can trigger discomfort, often unintentionally. 13. Leaning in versus leaning back, engagement in motion. Leaning in signals interest, respect, and connection, especially when paired with steady eye contact and open posture. Leaning away or creating distance can signal fatigue, disinterest, or defensiveness. The body is literally pulling away from the interaction. If someone shifts forward mid-conversation, it often means you've said something meaningful. 14. Cradling a baby. Left brain, right heart. Over 80% of women naturally cradle babies on their left side. This lateral preference is linked to right brain emotional processing. A study in Nature Neuroscience found that stressed or depressed mothers are more likely to hold babies on the right side, perhaps due to altered brain activity or emotional withdrawal. So while it seems minor, even a gesture like this can reveal hidden emotional states. 15. Crossed arms and legs, protective shields. Crossed limbs are often subconscious physical barriers. While not always negative, they usually signal that someone is protecting themselves or withdrawing emotionally. If If the conversation is casual and arms stay crossed throughout, the person may feel unsure, judged, or even bored. Watch for changes. If their arms uncross after you share something vulnerable, it might signal trust is growing. 16. Shoes. The psychology beneath the feet, yes. Your shoes really do say something about you. A study by Gilleth in 2012 found that observers could accurately judge 90% of a person's personality traits from their footwear alone, including attachment style, conscientiousness, and anxiety. Worn-down soles may indicate practical personality types. Flashy, bold shoes correlate with extroversion. Unscuffed sneakers may suggest a desire for control or impression management. 17. Grooming and style. Surface that reflects the inner world. Grooming, hair, and wardrobe choices are forms of nonverbal self-expression. Meticulous grooming often reflects conscientiousness, order, or even anxiety about control. More creative or unkempt styles may reflect openness to experience or artistic leanings. Of course, this isn't one size fits all. Cultural background and context matter. 18. Mirroring behavior. Mirroring happens when someone unconsciously imitates your gestures, speech rhythm, or posture. It's one of the most reliable signs of rapport and emotional synchrony. People do this naturally when they feel safe, respected, or aligned with the person they're speaking to. This phenomenon, called the chameleon effect, has been studied in depth by social psychologists. Therapists and negotiators often use subtle mirroring to build trust. If someone begins to mirror you, especially after being distant or reserved, it's a clear sign they're warming up to you. 19. Voice, pacing, and pauses. The speed at which someone speaks and where they pause can offer deep insight into their emotional state. Fast talking often suggests anxiety, enthusiasm, or a desire to dominate the conversation. Slower speech, by contrast, may reflect thoughtfulness, calm, or emotional distance. Awkward or unexpected pauses can also be telling. They may signal internal conflict, dishonesty, or a fear of saying the wrong thing. When paired with nervous gestures or averted eyes, long pauses can indicate that someone is withholding information or unsure how to respond. 20. Digital body language. In today's world, we often read people through screens. Digital body language includes the way someone types, responds, and structures their messages. Consistent delays without context might point to avoidance or disinterest. Rapid responses with emojis and full sentences often signal enthusiasm and emotional availability. Even punctuation matters. A period at the end of a short message can come off as cold or final. Overuse of exclamation marks may signal overcompensation or nervous energy. While tone can be hard to read in text, patterns in responsiveness and message style can tell you a lot if you're paying attention. To conclude, reading people isn't about labeling, it's about understanding. Every gesture, tone, or glance is part of a larger story. And when you learn to observe with both empathy and science, you become someone who doesn't just hear others, you truly see them. So, which cue do you notice first when meeting someone? Leave a comment. We'd love to know what your intuition picks up on first.